All
Heavy,
right.
heavy question to
Yes.
start.
Yes.
Apologize
Yes.
for
You're
that.
throwing the big guns out there. But all
Great
right, it is
segue.
6:30, so I am gonna go ahead and start the webinar. We've got 4 people waiting,
All right.
so I'm hitting that now. Welcome, everyone. We will get started in just a moment here. We're going to wait for everyone to join us for maybe 1 more minute before we begin.
Great. So I'm seeing Vicky's name, but I don't know if I'm
Yep.
seeing Vicky. How's it
It
going?
looks
Nice
like
to see
Vicky
you.
is here.
Yeah, I don't know. My name is Rachel, and I don't know why it says
Oh,
Vicky. Vicky's
Oh,
actually the
oh,
trainer,
here, let
isn't
me.
she?
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, Rachel, are you going to be co-hosting with us today? Or you're just going to, okay,
I'm just a
one,
participant.
Just a
all right.
I
participant.
know nothing.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So, well, that's a good segue to get things started. So, first of all, I'd like to say welcome to Launch Your Business with Customer Focused Marketing, which is our program for today. I'm Emily. I'm a librarian here at the Plano Public Library, and I will be moderating today's program, which is presented by Jake Foreman from Grow with Google. Now, before we begin, I do have a few things that I need to share. First, you will be muted during this program and have your video blocked, and you will only be able to see the presenter's screen. Second, you are welcome to ask questions or request that information is repeated at any time. To ask questions, you may use the chat or Q&A features located at the bottom of your screen. The chat is set to only be seen by library staff. And lastly, a recording of today's program will be available in a few days on the Plano Public Library's YouTube channel. And with that, Jake, let's get started.
Great. Thank you so much, Emily. Welcome to today's workshop on how to launch your business with customer-focused marketing, brought to you by Grow with Google. Grow with Google is an initiative to help people prepare for work, find jobs, and grow their online business. In this workshop, we're going to talk about the basics of customer-focused marketing to help you launch a successful business. So it's so nice to meet you all. I am calling in from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I'm really excited to be here with you all. I am the New Mexico digital coach with Grow with Google, but I'm also an entrepreneur just like you. I also work at a nonprofit called New Mexico Community Capital. So we get to work with entrepreneurs to help them with technical assistance and access to capital. So I'm really excited to be filling in for Vicky. And now I see Rachel. I see some other folks as well. So it's so nice to meet you all. If you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat or just let me know. I think we have a small enough group that we could have an interactive discussion. We have some activities as well that are interactive. So be ready to take notes, maybe open up a Google Doc. And so let's go ahead and begin. So in this workshop, you're going to learn about why marketing is so important. We're going to introduce things like the marketing funnel and the customer journey and explain how your marketing can influence who does business with you. You're going to learn about how to reach prospective customers and build awareness of your brand, as well as how to engage your customers during their decision process to influence their consideration. You're going to also learn about methods of conversion and how to build customer loyalty and encourage brand advocacy. So let's go ahead and start by talking about the marketing funnel and the customer journey. This is so important. It's probably like the fundamentals, just around marketing. And I love this quote, right? Great marketers don't make stuff, they make meaning. This quote is by marketing guru Seth Godin, and it gets to the heart of it. The job of marketing is to make your products and overall brand meaningful for customers. That's what creates a customer base that is loyal to your brand, choosing your products over others. But how does that begin? So I'm going to give you all an example. This is Shalyn Thomas and Sharika Winter, the founder of a business called TW Totes. Shalyn couldn't find a professional way to carry his lunch to work. He tried a paper bag, plastic bag, even one of those old school, plastic thermos bags, and none of them reflected his style. He looked for a professional lunch bag online, but he couldn't find one at a reasonable price point. So he decided to take matters into his own hands, and that's when he created his business. So, like most entrepreneurs, Shalyn and Sharika started out with a passion and a great idea. They had design and engineering skills. They could bring to build a product for people wanted, but they didn't know too much about marketing. Many of the decisions were based on gut instinct. And I have to also admit, I've done a lot of business decisions based on gut instinct. And it is work sometimes, and it's a great start, but they didn't know how to market the product, right? And create a meaning for their customers. So they realized they needed to be great at marketing too, and they needed to establish a brand that would reach more customers and build loyalty. So at its core, marketing is an ongoing effort to create meaning for your customers. It answers questions like, why should customers buy from your company? What's in it for them? What makes your product, service, and company great? Why they should listen to your advice? And what's your backstory? Storytelling helps impart meaning into your products and brands, connects customers with your business on an emotional level. And when customers buy from you, you want them to feel good about their purchases. So I'm thinking about everything that I purchase, including the Stetson hat, right? There's a meaning behind it. There's a reason that I'm wearing it. It has a history. And that's why I bought it, right? Compared to other brands. So it's useful to think of marketing as a funnel, right? And really like a funnel, like a funnel cake, right? Or one of those bigger funnels. And it really starts with awareness. It's a process to take people who are unfamiliar with your products or services and turn them into paying customers. The first benefit of this framework is that it considers the customer journey. Instead of trying to random marketing strategies or sticking with a plan that focuses only on sales, the marketing funnel encourages you to consider the experience a buyer has with the brand. The customer journey is the sum of the experience customers go through when interacting with a brand. And like I mentioned, awareness is the first phase. When a potential customer discovers you, maybe through word of mouth, a Google search, or an ad. Next, they may move into the consideration phase. This is when customers weigh in whether they'll buy from you or your competitor, whether they'll buy your type of product or something similar, whether they'll buy it all. If the customer decides to become your customer, they move into the conversion phase. They may buy one thing or many things over a lifetime, which brings me to the final phase, loyalty. This is when customers are so thrilled about their experience that they turn to your brand first and recommend it to others. And that is so key because even in awareness, I know in rural communities, small towns, a lot of awareness is word of mouth, right? So you want to make sure that you have loyal customers that are able to, recommend you. So your job as a marketer is to influence customers at every phase of the customer journey. So when we talk about consideration, your marketing is about engaging potential customers by answering questions and building relationships. In the conversion phase, your marketing is about influencing your leads. And lastly, sustaining contacts with customers who had a good experience can build loyalty and turn them into brand advocates. At every phase of the customer journey, you have the opportunity to persuade them to move forward with you. The better the marketing, the greater the influence, and the longer the journey. So let's go into the first phase and how you could reach prospective customers and build awareness of your brand. Awareness. So how do you reach customers? If anyone wants to come off mute, please let me know. How do you all usually reach customers? Is it from a Google search, word of mouth, advertising, trade show marketing? I would love to learn about anyone. If anyone has a business they'd like to share, how do they gain awareness?
This is Rachel. I'll
Yeah,
share.
yeah,
Uh, I think word of mouth has always worked better for us.
yep,
Of course, Google search.
yep,
I mean, advertising is just really hit or miss.
yep.
And trade shows, we haven't done those in forever.
Yeah. And Rachel, if you don't mind, can you share your business and even put if you have a website in the chat? What do you do?
Sure. So we are AR Workshop Garland. What we are a mobile arts and craft workshop,
Cool.
which offers hands-on instructions on how to create a variety of projects. Whether that's like a wood sign, a tray, chunky knit blanket, candle pouring, wide brim hat decorating or
Very
burning,
cool.
just all sorts of crafty projects.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, so it is word of mouth, right? Because it's kind of sounds like, what you do is that you're in community, you probably connected to the art scene, you're connected to the fashion scene, you're getting a sense of what's going on, right? What is the vibe? And you're helping, create space for others to explore art. So I love that, right? And so Definitely, trade show marketing, you mentioned you haven't done in a while. Advertising's hit or miss. Any digital advertising? Have you put out any Google ads or YouTube ads?
Yes, we do. We do digital marketing. We have not specifically done it through Google. AR Workshop is a franchise, so we are required to go with um, the company that the franchise recommends for advertising.
Yep.
And I know that I see it, moving out there. I'm not seeing the return though.
Right, right,
So
right, right.
yeah.
Yep, I understand. How about last question, your Google business profile? Do you have a Google business profile? Has it helped?
I do have a Google business profile.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard for me to gauge whether or not that it has helped because our website is owned by the franchise. So, I
Gotcha.
think that you can connect the pixel key or whatever,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
to get analytics.
Yep.
But I know I can also be doing more,
Okay.
in regards to
Yeah.
Google.
Great. Well, I will go over that. Thank you so much for answering those questions. And again, that's some of the other challenges and opportunities, right? Working as a franchise as well. Thank you. So, to reach prospective customers, you first need to understand who they are so you know how to reach them, right? And that was kind of, I was mentioning to understanding your clientele, and you need to identify who needs your product. Then build a brand that sparks their interest. And once you defined your ideal market and build a solid brand, get your business online. So, let's talk about each of these concepts more in detail. Again, franchise, the benefit there is a solid brand already, right? So, there's a lot of already marketing in place, I'm sure, and that brand understanding. But this is really important when we talk about Google business profiles and even with ads, right? Is understanding and identifying your customer. So understanding exactly who your prospective customer is will guide your marketing. Your brand and products may be useful to just about anybody, but if you don't focus on your most likely customers, you'll spread your message and money too thin. That's where marketing segmentation comes into play. It helps you narrow in. You could start with demographic segmentation, which includes things like age, gender, ethnicity, religion, income, and education level. You may also want to know about their interests, values, personality, lifestyle. These are all psychographics, right? Geographics are location-based information like what size and density of region or neighborhood they live in, what language they speak, and even the climate where they live. Lastly, behavioral segmentation involves understanding the frequency of your customers' purchases and their usage of your products and level of loyalty. All right, am I presenting to you, Emily? It's okay. We're here. um, I love this customer persona because it's about empathy mapping. And I think anyone, could learn about empathy mapping. It's just understanding who is your clientele, right? Even for the library, right? Who's going there? So here's an example. Metro Michaela, mid-30s, female, single, lives in a large city, college educated, works in fashion, interests, cooking, wine, travel. They shop locally. So once you identify your customers, it's time to create a brand that appeals to them. Branding is more than just choosing a logo you like. A good brand identity connects emotionally to your prospective customers. Your logo design and brand colors will convey certain feelings and even inspire certain actions. Emily, are you the only one on the call?
So the attendees are all muted.
Okay, awesome. Great.
Yes,
Good, good, good.
yes.
Okay,
As a
so then we
reminder,
just had
yes.
one attendee that was
So no,
a
so yes,
part of
I'm
it.
so sorry to
Okay,
interrupt. So yes, all attendees are muted. So please do use the chat or Q&A feature if you have any
perfect.
questions or comments you would like to share.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Awesome. Good, good. So your logo design and brand colors will convey certain feelings and even inspire certain actions. Graphic elements communicate values and interests and should represent what your prospective customer aspires to. Your brand's messaging, tone, and voice do the same, helping to communicate what your brand is about, how it relates to them, and how it aligns with their values. So, like I mentioned, I probably can't hear everyone, but if you do have a business, please put in the chat. I would love to see logos, designs, websites as well. This is a huge part of it. This is my favorite part about owning a business, right? Is really developing your brand. These shared values and ideals create the basis of your brand. Before you choose a logo or color, you need to define your values and ideals. So TW Tote positions itself as as a luxury but approachable brand. They wanted their products to be accessible while meeting the standards of quality and style. They use these characteristics to describe who they are, what they want to be, and how they want to be perceived. These values can be written into a brand positioning statement that establishes the foundation of your marketing efforts. I just want to highlight this photo that you're an extension of your brand as well, right? So these two founders, the way that they dress, the way that they look, even the color coordinated shoes matching the bag, that's all intentional, right? So you are an extension of your brand as well. There's another workshop about building your personal brand I can do later, but I just wanted to point that out. This is my favorite part of it. I'm going to help you all create a brand positioning statement, and this is going to be your North Star and can also be used externally in your marketing. So it should include the customers you serve, your audience, what you offer, and how it addresses your customer's need. Again, you're addressing a problem statement, how you're the best at what you do, and what differentiates you from your competitors, i.e., your unique value proposition, right? This is so important in any business. What is your unique value proposition? Your brand promise or mission, right? Brand positioning statements need to be brief, clear, and memorable. Good branding creates a cohesive, powerful experience for your customers, and it begins here. All right. So, who you serve, what you offer, what differentiates you, your promise or mission. That's Shark Tank, right? That's the basic business pitch. So, here's a template you could use for your own brand positioning statement. The blue words are placeholders. You will replace the 5 placeholders with words that apply to your brand, including the audience, the customer challenge or need, your company name, your product or service, and why it's different, and a brand promise or mission. All right, so y'all ready? I'd recommend if you can take a screenshot, write it down a little bit. I'm going to show you all examples of TW Tote, but I'm happy to also help you all create your brand statement. Okay, so for audience, who, customer challenge and need, company name provides product and differentiator because it's your brand promise or mission. So here's an example. The audience is working professionals. The customer challenge or need is a stylish and functional tote bag. Think of all these as keywords, by the way, right? Working professionals, audience, stylish and functional lunch bag. It's a keyword. The company name is TW Tote. Your product or service and why it's different is fashionable insulated vegan leather totes. Interesting. So there's a lot of totes, but I haven't heard many vegan leather totes. And a brand promise or mission is everyone deserves a luxurious and functional lunch bag the entire family can use. All right, great. So let's put it all together in a brand positioning statement. For working professionals who need a stylish and functional lunch bag, TW Tote provides fashionable, insulated vegan leather totes because everyone deserves a luxurious and functional lunch bag the entire family can use. All right, so there's one example. It has all those elements in. I think it's pretty good. So once you define your prospective customers and designed a brand that speaks to them, it's time to get your business online. You may find an audience through existing platforms like social media sites, seller platforms like Etsy, or directory site, often made for specific professions like accountants or plumbers. These existing platforms can help you reach specific customers, but using them is like renting an office. You don't own the space, you lease it. That means the owner can change the space, raise the rent, or even go out of business and leave you in the lurch. If you build your brand's presence only on lease platforms, you risk the chance of your sole connection to your customers being wiped at the whim of the platform. I remember that happened with TikTok, right? Of the potential scare of banning TikTok completely, right? So a lot of TikTok creators, they built this huge following, but when that service went out, where can they go? So it's really important, again, to not put all your eggs in one basket, right? Try it all out. Of course, again, working in smaller communities, Facebook is a huge part of that, right? Facebook groups, Facebook chats, of course, Instagram, YouTube, etc. So building your own website ensures that you own your online property. And I really encourage everyone to have a website, even if it's just their name, so people can learn more about you. You have full control over it and its content and how it behaves. You could also grow and customize it as your business grows. Also, your own website can be optimized for search engines, helping people find you. So there's many different platforms to build your website. but it is a fun design project. You could also get your business online by creating a free business profile. This is your front door into the digital sphere. The business profile displays critical business information to searchers across Google Search and Maps and is optimized for different devices. This doesn't replace a website, but it can help you stand out in search results and drive potential customers to your site. Creating a business profile helps you control the details Google displays like business hours, contact information, storefronts, photos, videos, and more. There's also built-in marketing features to communicate with your customers throughout the customer journey. So you can find more out by google.com/business. I highly recommend everyone have a Google business profile, especially if they have a storefront or service-based business. We heard about a business earlier. This is really a great place to engage folks. And it's, again, there's so many features there that can really help you stand out. Once customers discover your brand, some move into the next phase of the customer journey. That's consideration. Here you could guide customers throughout the process of evaluating your brand, engaging and influencing them to learn more about you. So during this consideration phase, customers are deciding whether or not they want to do business with you. They're evaluating your brand compared to other choices and gathering information to help them decide what or if to buy. Your marketing strategy is to provide answers to their questions and or other details to help them in their evaluation. So engaging your customers during the consideration phase is so crucial. Learn about their needs and wants by listening to them, asking questions, and having meaningful conversations. Spend time communicating and delivering valuable information and content to your customers. Your goal during this phase is to build interest and desire in your customer so they want to develop a deeper and longer relationship with your brand. There's so many ways to do this research. I think of every single moment that I have as kind of a form of research, right? You're just going out and you're going to a concert and you're seeing what people are talking about, what they're wearing. You're getting a sense again of the vibe, right? So it's so important to listen. I've had people do surveys. I've had people just do informal interviews. I've had people, create a trusted council of leaders to help them, do this research. To learn about your customers, listen and really don't make assumptions. Determine their pain points. The better you understand those needs, the better you can create solutions and communicate them. Shalin and Sharika at TW Tote discovered that their customers loved their lunch bags, but also needed different types of totes for a variety of uses. You can address the challenges your potential customer has with your particular industry products or your brand specifically. Analyzing what customers are searching for online will give you insight into what they want and need. By listening and learning, you can figure out how to best serve your customers throughout your products and your content. I'll give an example. Again, I'm wearing a hat. We talked about hat customization. There's little pins right here. This is a very expensive hat. So, if I wanted a new band, I want that to match, right? So having photos, even historical photos of how people wore this hat, maybe in the 50s or 60s, those are the types of things that are going to help me convince me to customize my hat, just as an example. You could use Google search to find out what your customers may be looking for. Often it's for solutions to their problems. How do your prospective customers search? What terms do they use that could connect them to your products or brands? Searches by TW Totes customers might be around fashionable work bags or style tips. These search terms become the keywords and keyword phrases that should be used regularly throughout your marketing. Most small businesses should have at least 5 and up to 30 keywords or phrases they know their customers use to search their type of products and expertise. What keywords have you identified for your business? Let us know in the chat. You can put those in. I'll go ahead and pause for a second and check the chat real fast. Awesome. Glad. Thank you. Thank you for putting those in. Cynthia, sound is set to muted. Great. Awesome. Thank you, Emily. How do we learn keywords or phrases? That's a great question as well. Cynthia White, awesome. So yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. There's many ways that's kind of informed. That's a part of what we call search engine optimization, and I'll get to that on the next couple slides. All right. So whenever you enter a search query, you'll see a list of related searches at the bottom of the search results page. That's what's highlighted on the slide. TW Tote couldn't find professional lunch bag into the Google search bar and see what related search comes up. So these may be good words or phrases to use in their marketing, right? So being able to think about hat customization, what other searches come up? And there's also a tool you can use, and this is my favorite tool, Google Trends. Go ahead and put that into the chat as well. g.co/trends, if you could help me, Emily. It's a great tool. It will show you all the relative popularity of different search terms on Google. If it has enough data, Trends can show a forecast of search volume and searches experiencing significant growth. You could use it to find and compare the popularity of different words and phrases, determine seasonality of different searches, and see where searches happen geographically. You could also use it to discover related search topics and queries, and all this information can help you see what topics people are interested in and create relevant content to publish your site. So this is really helpful to just find those keywords. What's the most searched? You can compare, again, customizing hats to compare it to, customizing or just arts and crafts and see what comes up more. And so you could compare those over time and then get even geographic data as well. Since so, again, for the person that was doing the mobile, art supply, you might even get insights into when people are searching, right? So again, just going back to the custom hat, we're coming up to a school year coming up, so people are starting to buy, new hats, their new outfits. But then again, like when you're out, I don't know, y'all have probably state fairs out there too. Come September, that's when people really want to go out and look their best. Maybe that's when they want to customize their hat more, right? For a big event that's happening, a rodeo, etc. So this helps kind of provide that data and just think of it linearly over time, but also geographically as well. So once you know what your customer is looking for, it's time to give them what they want. A shift from listening to communicating begins when you share content that educates and inspires them. Your customers most likely don't know half of what you know about your industry and even less about your specific brands and products. What can you teach them? What can you demonstrate or instruct them in? How can you help them, inspire them, and provide resources? Engage with customers by giving them valuable information that proves you're a reliable source of information about your industry, content, and builds trust by sharing your expertise. And so really this is where you get to shine, right? And be able to share this content, right? And how to do it. Um, I'll share one last thing. I know I'm really picking on one business, but Labubus have been really big. I don't know if you've heard of those, right? Those little monster dolls with the work. Everyone's customizing them now. They're literally tattooing them, they're making clothes for them, they're making little hats for them. So again, just understanding what's happening, that you're an expert, that you're following the trends of customization, crafts, right? And ability. I love that. I'm such a huge fan of that business. So you can share content, words, photos, and videos through many different channels. You don't have to be on all of them, but you do have an opportunity to reach different audiences in different ways through different channels. Think of each of these channels as a means to share your content, to grab their attention in a place where your customer likes to spend time and learn. TW Tote has a YouTube channel with commercial style videos talking about their product features. They also showcase special offers on social media and their blog. So there's a lot of choices. Choose channels based on whether your customers spend time, what best delivers the content you're sharing. Ultimately, if you want to drive traffic back to your website and share content directly on your site. If you have a business profile on Google, you could use those post features to share content that links back to your site. And you could find more out at google.com/business. Whatever you dream up and that's interesting, entertaining, and educational to your prospective customers, stuff that's useful to them and not necessarily about you, will engage them on these channels and help them evaluate you further. I know it sounds like a lot to ask. Just remember that you're sharing this content to attract them to your site, trade the value you provide through attention. I think it's also, yeah, Labubu dolls. Thank you. Great. Yeah. So I'm just checking the chat as well. I like to ask friends, right? Ask influencers, ask folks that have following to do a post about your business, right? That's also really helpful. I'm the worst at promoting myself, but someone asked me to help promote their business, I'm on it, right? Especially if I get a discount or a perk, right? So No one wants to feel like they're being sold to. That's what scares so many businesses away from marketing. But as long as your marketing is customer focused and appropriate at each phase of the journey, you're actually sharing, not selling. Right? I'm going to say that again. You're sharing, you're not selling. So provide opportunities for your customers to evaluate your brand and products through your content. One page on TW Tote's website describes how their products are made and what makes them special. You can do this with a FAQ page on your website or a comparison spec sheet to understand your different packages. Create demo videos and educational webinars that help your customers evaluate your brand. Sampling and free trials are also ways to help customers decide whether or not to buy. So encourage people to also sign up for your email list. Through email, you could segment your audience and send personalized communication that continue nurturing your customer relations during the consideration phase and lead to the conversion for those who are ready. When I'm buying online, I might follow someone on social media and probably follow them for at least a couple months to just get a sense of who they are, if they're legit, right? Build that trust, and then I'll make those purchases, and then I'll probably, stay a loyal customer, right? Things go well. So think of it as a journey, right? It's not instant, but that's why social media can be so helpful. Remember, communicating in this way with your prospective customers helps develop a relationship built on trust, credibility, and likability. These are things you earn by putting in the work we've talked about so far. Beyond sharing great content, you also need to spend some time solving their problem, even the ones that come up before they become a paying customer. So you could influence their consideration by having conversations, answering questions, and helping your customers evaluate you. Marketing during the consideration phase can be long and takes patience, but having a consistent content strategy and dedication to engaging your customers through a variety of channels will solidify a relationship that lasts. So, again, those real connections, those conversations, even those gifts, right? There was a lot of things that I gifted, as a business owner. Sometimes it came back to me, sometimes it didn't, but sometimes it came back to me in a really big way, right? Bigger opportunities through just being likable, right? So let's look at another real world business to help us understand the third and fourth phases of the customer journey. We have Tracy and Danny, the mother daughter team behind Wicked Good Cupcakes. I love this idea. They started at a cupcake making class and they created their business by making cupcakes in mason jars. I've actually have never seen this. I've never tried one before, but it looks amazing. So as the reputation grew, they received hundreds of shipping requests, but they couldn't find a way to ship cupcakes and have them arrive fresh and intact. That's when they came up with the big idea, cupcakes in mason jars. Wow, so I'm going to get some shipped to me. So by filling jars with a layer of cake frosting and filling, the cupcake stays fresh for 10 days without refrigeration. It can be shipped easily. Wow, that is a huge problem. Usually my cupcakes come stale, right? Even after the next day. News spread, and then they debuted their product on ABC's Shark Tank in front of 10 million viewers. So they became the go-to site to buy unique baked goods. Sounds like a nightmare because I'm sure right after they did that, right, Wicked Good Cupcakes had achieved brand awareness and they were actively engaging their customers. I'm sure they got a huge demand, right? Their next step was to focus on increasing purchases and turning customers into brand loyal advocates. It was time for Tracy and Danny to do more marketing focused on the conversion and loyalty phases of the customer journey. They needed to learn more about their customers so they could better convert them. They needed to identify opportunities to improve their website, ways to make the entire experience, especially the checkout process, more efficient. They also needed to give their customers reasons to come back to the site, share their experiences with others, and eventually become brand advocates. That's a really important point, right? Anything online is going to get more hits if it's active and fresh, right? With the help of Wicked Good Cupcakes, we're going to talk about the last two phases of the customer journey, how your marketing can help convert more customers during the conversion phase, turn them into brand loyal customers during the loyal phase. So let's start with the conversion phase. Once your marketing has addressed the awareness and consideration phase of the customer journey, you should have some leads and have become prospects and ready to become paying customers. In this phase, your job as a marketer is to influence these leads and prospects to become paying customers, a process called conversion. To convert customers, you need to figure out which leads are most likely to become customers and focusing your marketing efforts on them. To do this, you need to identify the key customer actions that lead to conversion. Then share the right marketing messages and a timely call to action to encourage the purchase with those already customers. Finally, you convert more customers when you streamline the purchase process and make it as easy as possible for them. We're going to go over all of these more in detail with you. So, how do you know where customers are in their journey? You look at their actions. Certain actions signal they are more likely to convert. These key actions may vary, but depending on your business, some common ones are signing up for a mailing list, yep, submitting a form like a request for a quote, downloading content like a product brochure or watching a video, signing up for a trial or demo account, downloading your app, calling you or emailing you to schedule a consultation, placing a product on your online shopping cart but leaving the site before making a purchase. Even when you're at, markets, someone that's walking really slow and looking at those cupcakes, right? That's a prospective client. It's important to remember that these key actions won't all be online, right? So a key action could be visits to the cupcake truck, like I mentioned, getting samples, hooking people in a little bit to just be able to tell your story. When they looked into customer actions, they saw that some website visitors were placing items in their shopping cart, but not completing the purchase. That action signaled a high interest level than just visiting the website. They identified these visitors and then sent them coupons, giving them a nudge to buy. Think about your business. What customer actions can help you identify people who might be ready to become customers? I just got that yesterday, right? I love that feature of putting something in the basket and not buying it, but then getting an email saying, hey, we saw you put this in the basket, would you like to buy this still? That's what we're talking about, right? What are those ways that you could connect with them to help make that conversion? So once you've identified customers ready to make a purchase, it's time to share content and calls to actions designed to convert. As I mentioned earlier, Wicked Good Cupcakes sent coupons to people who abandoned their shopping carts. Great. The conversion effort could include a discount or specialty deal like buy one, get one free, or exclusive offer if it was more of a VIP feel. Had other online shopping, they have like one of those spinning wheels and spin to win 15% off your first purchase, things like that. You could also send an invitation to special content like a webinar or event, or include customer testimonials that share more about your brand or product. Think about what else you could offer as a value added service, like free shipping or free tutorial with product specialist. Present these value adds in a way that sounds compelling and time sensitive. Good copywriting will go a long way in creating a persuasive call to action. Also, the way that you package, right? Even this idea, I love the concept of mason jars, right? How do you make that package that much more appealing, right? So if I was to look into this and yeah, I'm interested, it's very fresh, but maybe I think about even the design, right? Using the mason jars, what would I do differently to just make that stand out? Maybe afterwards I could use the mason jar, it's like comes with a straw, go-to drink vessel, right? So there's a lot of elements that go into conversion. One of the easiest ways to convert customers to make the purchase process as simple as possible. You could create a hassle-free online checkout experience by reducing the numbers of steps, offering guest checkout as opposed to requiring sign-in, providing value-add services or benefits with purchase, and ensuring they feel great about what they're buying. When Wicked Good Cupcakes wanted to make it faster and easier for customers to complete their purchases, they reduced the total number of checkout steps. They also continuously test other checkout options and tweak the process based on results. For example, they added the option for customers purchasing cupcakes as a gift to record a personalized video that be sent via email to the recipient. Great idea. They used Google Analytics to see how those changes affected their sales and made the necessary adjustments as the data came in. Ultimately, conversion works best when you're creating a stellar experience at every touch point throughout the customer journey. Just want to share that, right? We started with intuitive feeling, going into data backed results. And I love that, right? I love entrepreneurs being able to use data like analytics to make those decisions. So we talked about what you should do to convert customers. Now let's look at a tool that can help you accomplish it. Google Analytics. I know everyone's like, oh man, Google Analytics, it's so difficult. Well, they've made it a lot easier, right? And so there's new features in Google Analytics, and it allows you to track the customer journey on your website and app if you have one. Google Analytics will help you discover important information about your website visitors, like how do people find my site? What do customers interact with once they find me online? What demographic groups visit my site the most? And what channels drive the most traffic? And which channels and actions drive the most conversion? Google Analytics can help you do a better marketing throughout the entire customer journey. Specific to the conversion phase, Google Analytics provides insight into the actions impacting your conversion, helps you identify customers ready to convert, and lets you analyze your conversion process so you can get more people to complete the action important to your business. So you can learn more at g.co/analytics. You do have a Google Analytics account connected to your website. So just double check. Some of us, like we mentioned, have a franchise. So if there's a way to plug that in, yeah, but even Google Business Profile has a version of analytics. All social media channels have a version of analytics. So you could just look in, see who's searching. I was just looking at our Google Ads performance earlier today, and we have a variety of people. And really, it's about split mobile, looking from a cell phone, and then also looking online. So again, remember anything that you're doing is compatible for both. It's able to be seen on all devices, including tablets, and it's really helpful to just kind of see where people are coming from. Another Google tool that can be useful for driving conversion is Google Ads. So they're inherently connected, right? One of these advantages of digital advertising is the ability to deliver specific content to specific groups of people. This lets you show ads to the right people at the right time, making it more likely they'll convert into paying customers. For example, you could use Google Ads to put sales messages and incentives in front of people searching for products like yours. Ads can appear on Google search results and many other websites like YouTube. There are many formats available: text ads, image ads, shopping ads, video ads, to name a few. There's also special types of campaigns. So one you may recognize is called remarketing. In these campaigns, your ads can appear to a potential customer after he or she visits your website. When you connect your Google Ads and Google Analytics account, you're able to create ads directly from your analytics data and learn more about the impact of your ad campaign. So you can learn more at ads.google.com. I'm in the process of doing this. Like I mentioned, I work at a nonprofit, and Google offers up to $10,000 a month on free Google Ads. So if you do have a nonprofit, you could sign up for that. That's really helpful. We've barely scratched the surface of us actually using it, because there's also ways that you could set up your ads that you get paid per click. You set your budget for a certain amount every month. So you could literally start, with $5, and just try it out for a month. So I've had varying success with it, but most importantly, you're really connecting it to something like your website. So those are also connected. So we're on the final phase of your customer journey, loyalty. As in the other phases, you can influence your customers' actions through focused marketing that sustains loyalty and encourages them to recommend you to others. By giving your customers more to consume and making their experiences great, you could sustain their business and earn their loyalty. Loyal customers think of your brand over all others. This will help encourage them to promote your brand and products to people they know, helping you reach new customers. And let me ask you all this: how have you been an advocate for businesses you love? Let us know in the chat. Thank you so much. I'm going to check out this Instagram. Oops, awesome. You're seeing that. Great. Dance production based out of Dallas. Thank you for sharing. I'll check this out. So you've put together a lot of different content. I could see you got different people. So this is great. Seems like you have a brand. I see the colors, brand colors. So thank you so much for sharing that. Oops, and did I just accidentally exit mine? Sorry about that. Here we go. So, all right, cool. Thank you all. So here we are for loyalty, right? And you can put that in the chat, right? Thank you so much. Ramsme Productions. Awesome. So by giving your customers more to consume and making their experiences great, you could sustain their business and earn their loyalty. Loyal customers think of the brand over all others, like we mentioned, and I will do this, right? How do we build this? And really, all customers are not created equal. A customer who stays interested and engaged with your brand and continues shopping with you has a lot of value to your business. So, how do you create more of these types of customers? By providing more value to them. You might do this through consistently excellent customer service, new products, as well as different programs and incentives. Ultimately, you want to keep your customers happy, engaged, and buying from you. Happy customers will often naturally tell others about their experience, but you could also nudge them to do this more with some focused marketing. You could identify customers who are ready for this phase based on their conversions, how long they've been a customer, and they're speaking out on social media channels about them. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Linda. Have a good time. Brianna, thank you. 1540 Bookshop. Thank you so much for putting that in there. Check that out. Building this type of customer loyalty can be done through a number of ways and relies on the entire customer experience being stellar up to this point. If they didn't have a good checkout experience, had trouble with the product and didn't get the help they needed, or felt ignored and unsatisfied with the experience or interaction, it'll be hard to turn them into brand loyal advocates. At this phase, you want to focus on deepening your relationship with your customers, getting to know them, letting them get to know you, and keeping them happy and engaged. You could do this by staying in touch through whatever channels make sense for your business, share content that's valuable to your paying customers, product tutorials, video guides, and new product launch info. Providing top-notch customer service will positively impact customer loyalty. Think about these questions. Do they get the help they need? Are you providing all the answers to them? Do they feel great about their purchases and interactions with your brand? If you don't know the answer to these questions, it's time to get some feedback. Asking your customers how you're doing or what you can do better is highly valuable information for you. We'll let them get to know your opinion that your opinion matters. It'll help you continually improve your offerings, services, and overall brand, which will also help build brand loyalty because they'll know you're listening and you care. Lastly, think about how you can delight your customers in unexpected ways to further deepen your relationships and differentiate you from your competitors. Have you been involved in a loyalty program? Let us know in the chat. I personally have been involved in the loyalty program, and I don't mind signing up for text messages, right? Especially if there's a discount. I love that. I love anything that helps me automate even my purchase. I've rarely put my credit card information in my phone because it's already saved either for Google Pay or shop, etc. So again, just ways that people can book you as fast as possible. Loyalty programs, cards work. I love the personalization. I don't mind getting emails, right? I'm sure you all feel the same way. You don't have to open it, but I love it. I'll open it more if it feels like it's personally addressed to me. And these types of programs help you sustain the customer loyalty you've built by helping them feel special. Who doesn't want to feel special, right? You could create a loyalty program based on VIP status and exclusivity, something that offers special product sneak peeks or videos to help them understand your products better. Your program could offer special discounts and perks like occasional coupons or points reward system. Personalization will also go a long way. So you may also want to consider things like sending personalized notes with purchases or special offers on birthdays and anniversaries, right? I love that personalization. Once your customers feel taken care of, even delighted, they'll be more open and encouraged to recommend your brand to people they know. This is so powerful because your current customers most likely associate with people within the same target market, making their friends and connections to your next best customers. In fact, 92% of customers trust word of mouth recommendations over the other types of marketing, and customers referred to by other customers, they have a 30% higher retention rate. These are important reasons to not just focus on sustaining loyalty, but encouraging advocacy. Happy customers will naturally spread positive word of mouth. Of course, the opposite is also true, which is why you want to create an excellent customer service experience. You can help your customers spread the word by putting out opportunities to advocate your brand in front of them. Start by asking your customers to leave you online reviews. Consider asking your best customers for testimonials or permission to make their experience with you a case study. You can also create referral programs that incentivize your customers to pass along messages and offers to friends. Contests and social media sharing opportunities with prize incentives are also a great way to help them too. Any other ideas, please put in the chat. I'm going to go back, to Ramsme Productions, right? I love it, right? And it's about culture. And so, within culture, seems to me like you're also interacting with a lot of families, right? So again, word of mouth, you're probably interacting with multi generations, right? And so how do you engage each one of those generations? Because that word of mouth, families they get big, right? And so, just things to think about around loyalty. So, encouraging customers to leave you a review on Google and interacting with them through your business profile is a great way to start as well. We've also incentivized this to just leave reviews as much as possible. Your happy customers become advocates for your business through the reviews they leave, which become a great way for new customers to learn about you in a way they trust. Responding to your reviews in a timely and professional manner shows customers that your business listens to feedback and can positively influence potential customers. You can respond in the Google search results and in the Google Maps app. Um, Keep your replies short and sweet. You can use it as an opportunity to share more solutions and resources with customers or to just simply say thanks. You could definitely ask a customer to leave you a review, just avoid offering incentives to do so. Your replies are simple but a powerful way to build loyalty and encourage advocacy. Even if they're negative reviews, it's also best used to respond back to those reviews, and that also shows your professional level of communication. So, your customers are not the only ones who could become brand advocates. Employees, partners, and vendors are great candidates for brand advocacy, even if they aren't actual customers. They have intimate knowledge of your brand and can be encouraged, and you can encourage them to be advocates for you. Paid influencers and affiliates are another form of advocacy. Put a one in the chat if you've used a paid influencer. I've kind of dabbled in it. It's still, again, a hit or miss. I wouldn't personally, spend too much on influencers. But again, the way that you interact, a lot of influencers will do it for free if they really feel a connection, again, to your brand. So we're coming to the end of the customer journey. As you can see, there's a lot of marketing you can do to influence the customer journey to ensure your potential customers become aware of you, consider you fully, complete a conversion, and become a loyal brand advocate. So I want you all to think about everything that we covered. What's your action plan, right? One thing you will do after this workshop to launch your business. Go ahead and put in the chat as well. Lots of great information. Thank you, Cynthia, so much. Thanks for joining. I'm really excited. I'm going to just go ahead and, while we're here, I'm going to check out. Wow, 1534. Look at this. Great. So I love this. I hope it's okay that we're going through your website. You got your logo right here. I love your colors. Your wireframe is very clear. Children's books. Okay, awesome. So these are your different shops. That's cool. I love this too. It's a lot of scrolling at the bottom. I love that you have collections here, your merch and accessories, and then you have your mission right here. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen with you all. I am done with this portion. I'm just going to pause for a second. Great. You're going to go ahead and try the business profile. That's awesome. Glad to hear. I'll share my screen one more time. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for putting in your action plans. Thanks for joining today. Just share a couple more resources as well and a recap. So, customer focused marketing for the awareness and consideration phase of the customer journey starts by defining who your customers are and creating a brand that speaks to them. You'll need to get your business online in order for your customers to reach you and research you. Spend time listening to prospective customers and learning about them so you can communicate effectively and deliver valuable content. All of this works to develop strong relationships with your customers in hopes they move into the next phase of the journey. So if anything you take away, you now understand the marketing funnel. The last two phases of the customer journey, your marketing is focused on converting your customers and turning them into loyal brand advocates. Not all of these people who show initial interest in your brand will move to these phases, so it's important to identify key actions someone in the consideration phase would take that would likely lead to a conversion. Then you want to identify those customers so you can share timely calls to action that paves the way to a purchase. You want to make sure the purchase process is streamlined and easy to use so you don't lose someone in the process. Again, different ways for people to pay. I think the more the better. And once you've landed a customer, keep them happy and satisfied to build their customer loyalty. Implement programs and incentives to sustain their loyalty and encourage their advocacy among everyone they know. You could also create an advocacy programs among other people like employees and influencers. Ultimately, their advocacy will lead to more customers entering the awareness phase of the customer journey, keeping the pipeline filled. Um, I was just thinking about the last business that I shared, right? What a perfect audience. Plano Public Library, right? People that are passionate about books, right? So you have that ability to also connect with the audience, folks that are joining and being a part of the community. So I know we covered a lot today. I just want to leave you all with some additional resources. So the first one too is you could keep learning on YouTube. You could just search youtube.com/grow with Google. There's new trainings. There's other fellow coaches that talk about other things like more around analytics, even how to boost your digital skills as well, and really increase your job opportunities and your careers and grow your business. If you're looking to start a new career and land a competitively paying job or build skills to grow your career, check out Google Career Certificates. I just graduated with my digital marketing and e-commerce. It was so helpful for me to understand, again, marketing, how to best use it. And I think one of the most underutilized marketing tools is the monthly newsletters, his emails, right? So keep collecting those email addresses. Think about, if you don't already have one, a monthly newsletter, quarterly newsletter, something that you could keep engaging your customers. And then these certificates can help you prepare for a new career in data analytics, advanced data analytics, business intelligence. My favorite, IT support, that's my next one, and then project management. So check out grow.google/certificates to learn more about that. Really helpful. I've learned a lot. And then also check out Grow with Google. So it's an initiative to help people prepare for work, find jobs, and grow their businesses. It's for job seekers, teachers, small business owners, startups, and developers. So that's google.com/grow. Really hope you all can check that out. And, thank you so much for attending today's workshop. We truly value your feedback. If you take a moment to share your thoughts, we'd appreciate it. So you could use that QR code or g.co/grow/feedback by using your mobile phone. You could scan the QR code. You could click the banner to access the survey. I want to thank you all again for attending. I know it's dinner time, so I'm hungry. I hope you all are as well. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Thank you so much for joining. And I will pass it back to Emily.
Thank you so much, Jake. We really appreciate this wonderful, wonderful presentation. I will just ask one final time if anyone has any outstanding questions they would like to ask via the chat or the Q&A feature. Unfortunately, we are not able to turn on the sound for attendees to voice those questions, but we do have chat and Q&A. So please type those questions in there. And I'll give everyone a minute or two, but I will say, Jake, thank you so, so much. This was such a wonderful presentation. Lots of fantastic information for current business owners, aspiring business owners, and entrepreneurs. So lots of great takeaways that you provided us here today.
Awesome. Thank you.
And give maybe one more minute. See if
I loved
any
learning about
questions
everyone's
trickle in.
business.
Lots of wonderful businesses out there.
Yeah.
So all different types of business areas. All right, so it does seem rather quiet. So I think you've answered everyone's questions here. And all
Awesome.
the great information you've shared. So just one more time, thank you so much for attending.
Thank you.
As a reminder, there will be a recording of this program posted to the Plano Public Library's YouTube channel in a few days, and you will also receive a copy of that. So thank you so much, and everyone have a wonderful evening.